Hi and welcome everybody. This is JessSaying live for the Daily Mirror and I'm columnist Jessica Bolton. I'm joined today by a true showbiz legend. She's been in the biz for nearly 60 years. Oh. It is the one and only Denise Nolan. Thank you so much for joining us today, Denise.
It's a very great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And congratulations are in order because today you've released your debut solo album, which is an actual record breaker, and you're already #1 in the iTunes jazz charts. Is that correct?
Yes, I've just found that out. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, I've never been, I think the only time I was ever #1 anything was spelling in French at school. So, it's just amazing. But yeah, I made the album 40 years ago. We put it on the back burner because I wasn't good at pushing myself. And we thought we did it because we loved the music. My partner and I particularly grew up in Sinatra. I'm absolutely mad about it. And I heard so many, what I thought were terrible albums coming out where people hadn't spent any money. They were using string machines and all. And I wanted to do them with an orchestra. So we had a 20-piece orchestra and it was just amazing. 20-piece and then 12-piece and then a quartet. So it was fabulous. I love doing it.
Which is absolutely fabulous. And I mean, the story of this album, it's called For You, My Love. For everyone, all your fans out there who are watching it, who have probably already got it anyway. But
also, please buy it.
This morning. But it's called For You, My Love. And you recorded it back then after you'd left the single Nolans, as they were, and then the Nolan sisters, and you recorded this to go out on your own. So why is it now that you've decided now is the time, you're ready to release it, do that debut album, which has put you in the record books as the oldest female debut solo album, which is awesome.
Kind of a compliment, but it's also very sad. You know what? I would have released it then, but I didn't know anybody to get in touch with. I was never one who was good at pushing me. I had a lot of great lovely agents, but not very effective. And then I met Dermot McNamara, who's been incredible. He said, "Have you got any albums?" I said, "Well, I've got one. I've got in the cupboard at home if you want to have a look at it." And he had a look and he says, "This is great." He said, "We got to release it." And that's how it happened. As simple as that.
How did it feel last night? Were you getting the sort of nerves of, right, okay, this is finally it after all this time? I'm finally going to see this album I've hidden away for all these years, finally heard by everybody.
No, everything's a bonus. I wasn't expecting it to happen. So everything that happens with it is a total bonus. If it doesn't make me fortunes, the fact that it got to #1 in the iTunes jazz charts has made my life. So, it'd be great if I make a few bob from it. But really, the fact that it's out there, music that I love more than anything else. I've got two kind of voices. I've got a very strong, like a Shirley Bassey type voice, which is my other voice. But this voice I'd kind of given up on. So the fact that the album's out there, and I've had so many lovely reviews as well, which has been incredible.
I was going to mention, you had a series of 5-star reviews, haven't you?
Yes,
from The Mirror, Express, Star, Best. I saw them all. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely chuffed. Yeah.
What are your sisters saying about all of this?
Oh, they're absolutely gobsmacked and chuffed to bits. Colleen texted me today. "I'm so proud," she said, and and my nieces have all gone out and bought it straight away, and they're all, my sister saying I'm in love with it, it's wonderful, and she would be because they're biased, but yeah, they're all really chuffed for me, as we are for each other whenever anything good happens, you know, that never changes.
You are all very supportive. I see you all like tweeting and talking about it all, and like Linda's been on today and everything like that, you know, so it's fantastic. It's really great. And we've got a bit of a sneak peek of some of the songs. Really? And I just wanted to sort of like see what sort of why you picked them, why they're your sort of favorites you want you to record from. I mean, I guess it was a while ago that you chose them. So are they, you know, what is it that's resonated with them about for so long? So I think we've got first With a Song in My Heart. A little listen.
Yeah. Heaven opens its portals to me. Can I help but rejoice that a love?
Well, that one was, that's not a jazz tune as such. It was the theme song of a film about a great singer called Jane Froman. The film was called With a Song in My Heart. I love my old movies anyway. But the reason it's on there in particular is because it was a big song for my mum. My mum was a wonderful singer, and it's in tribute to her. It's a very pretty song. It was on the Ella Fitzgerald albums. I think it's Rodgers and Hart, and it was on, please tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's Rodgers and Hart. And it's just a beautiful song. I mean, it was difficult, you know, as any Sinatra fan would tell you, they're 90% Sinatra. And to pick 20 Sinatra songs, you know, to put on an album, I couldn't do. There's so many I love. When I did the album, I thought, oh, I should have done that one and I should have done that one. But, you know, you've only got a certain amount you can put on an album.
Well, exactly. Especially as you were recording with the full orchestra and all of that as well. Just a comment come up here, just to mention about Jackie here. She said she danced with you at Whole New Theatre in Panto many years ago. Such a lovely lady and wonderful voice. She has lovely.
Oh, thank you so much, Jackie. Yes, my first Panto, Wish Upon a Star, and Tomorrow and wonderful cast. I mean, I don't think Pantos are as good as they used to be, Jackie. So it's lovely to hear from you. I so enjoyed that Panto with the wonderful Peter Goodright and Lenny the Lion. And I had a wonderful time. So lovely to hear from you, Jackie. Thank you very much for your compliments. Appreciate it.
That's lovely, isn't it? It's so nice when you hear from all people, because you've had such a long career. Because after we talk about this coming up, but you know, you've had the things like there. You've been on stage in the West End and everything like that coming up to. But first, if we just go through another one of the tracks, you've got "Love Is a Many Splendid Thing." I think which your voice comes across so wonderfully on this one.
Thank you. Well, that one is on there simply because it's my favorite song of all time.
Yeah.
It didn't fit in. I mean, I think Sinatra's recorded it, but the main version I've heard is Nat King Cole. It's a wonderful, wonderful song. It's the theme song from the film, and it's a very, very sad film. I mean, I wept buckets at the end of it, based on a true story. And at the end, this choir comes in singing "Love Is a Man," and so it was. I wavered about putting it on there because I love the song so much. I thought I want to do it justice, but it kind of had to be on there as my favorite song.
As your favorite song, you've got to do it, haven't you? If you hear it, and I think we've also got "I've Got It Bad" and "That Ain't Good."
I'm glad I'm mad about him. I can't live without him.
Yeah, great Duke Ellington song. He wrote it. Again, a very sad song. I've got Sinatra singing that. Most of them on there are from Sinatra albums. A real jazz classic, that one. I love doing that. I used to do it on stage with another jazz classic called Serenade in Blue. I used to do the two of them together. They were both Duke Ellington songs. And again, as a jazz classic, it had to be on there. And a Sinatra song. So
both, it had to be on there, and it was and it must be wonderful, so that you think that people out there now are hearing this voice. Is it weird for you to hear it, knowing that you recorded it so long ago? Is there part of you that thinks, oh, I should have done that differently, or I wish I'd done that differently?
Oh, yeah. I defy anybody to think that's perfect. The most perfect on there for me is probably the best vocal I've ever done, and that's modestly speaking. For me, it's the best vocal I've ever done was the Wee Small Hours, which again a great Sinatra classic. And I don't know, it's for me it's the best track on there. It's with a quartet. But I apart from that, yes, there's a lot of songs in there I'd love to have done again. And now I think I couldn't do them now because my voice got lower. You know, I had one article said her lovely soprano voice. Well, I didn't sing in soprano on those. They were in my head voice, but I had a lovely sweet head voice at the top that I used for those tracks. Now it would have to be in soprano voice because I couldn't get up to that high notes anymore. But you know, as I said, I've had lovely comments, and yes, if I had my way, there'd be at least 3 tracks in there I would love to redo. Yeah,
really, because I mean, honestly, your voice is amazing. I mean,
thank you.
It's difficult. It's difficult to know from a sort of outside, especially when you know when you've been performing in a group. It's difficult to tell on these, and then you know on the West End, it's a different kind of sort of a different kind of sort of music. You can't really tell, but you're coming across with these fantastic bellowing voice there. It's amazing, and the sound in the background. I think the last one, unfortunately, I've not picked your favorite. I'm sorry,
but the last one I've got favorites on there. So
the last one I've got is The Man I Love, which is
that's
will be my good news day. He'll build a little home.
Yeah, that was Peggy Lee, George Gershwin's song. Beautiful song again. And again, I wanted to do justice because Peggy Lee was just phenomenal. No, I have a couple of favorites in there. You, My Love is my favorite ballad of Sinatra's of all time. That's the title, and we've called it For You, My Love.
Yes.
From the film Young at Heart, which is my favorite film. I've seen it about 40 times. Because Sinatra, it was the first film I ever saw him in with Doris Day, another favorite. So, and The Wee Small Hours again are great. But as I said, they're all favorites. Everyone on there was a favorite of mine. I wouldn't put one on that I didn't like. You
didn't like, exactly.
They're all favorites. Yeah.
It is. How are you going to celebrate tonight? Now you've done this. You've released it. You got it. You got your #1 in the jazz charts.
I'm going to clean my flat.
I love it.
No, we're in London at the moment, my partner and I, and he's a musician. He's a drummer. He's playing tonight. And so I'm not. So we're going back to Blackpool on Sunday. So I'm trying to leave the place clean before we go. So nothing glamorous, especially when you get to my age, watch a bit of TV. Me costume dramas, which I love, or pick out a romantic. When he's not here, I can watch all the stuff he hates, But
I love it. I love it.
Nothing in particular. If it got to #1 in the, in the actual main charts, yes. I mean,
then it's time for a bit of champagne. You should be getting the champagne anyway.
I should. Dermot was talking about the Grammys, and I kind of, with him, everything he says, I used to go, oh, come on. When we thought about bringing the record out, don't be ridiculous. And recently he was talking about the Grammys, and I kind of laughed. But because of him, I went, but what if? You kind of laugh. But because everything he said has come true, I can't, discount anything, So, go if that happens. Now, that will be a celebration. But, yeah, we will. When I get to Blackpool, I'll get together with the family and do it. And it's my 70th birthday in 2 weeks. We're having a big party and all the family are coming. So we'll maybe mention it that night as well.
It's going to be a real knees up on that night, isn't it? Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
It's going to be a real one. It's, so a big question is, now you've done this album, could there be another one coming?
Do you know, if I was asked to, I'd love to. Whether I would do more show songs, because that's my other voice, the big, strong. I mean, I just, before COVID kicked in, I did a tour paying tribute to Judy Garland.
Yeah.
And I absolutely adored it. But they're a mixture of songs. There's some quiet ones, with some big, raunchy, dramatic songs. There's fun songs. And it was a great challenge, and I loved it. So I'd be tempted to do a couple of show songs. I don't know if it came to it, I'd be so chuffed. And if they wanted me to do another album of these, yes, of course, it'd be nice to be asked. I'd be very happy to do whatever they want. So apart from pop music,
apart from pop,
which is not my strong. I love it, but it's not my strong point.
Although I do know you did sing Lady Gaga, didn't you, in Panto one year?
Oh, you know everything, don't you? Yes. Born This Way. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love. Oh, and she's just phenomenal. I mean, there isn't any hat that woman can't throw on when it comes to music. She came out to do a tribute to the Sound Music one night, and I went, "Oh my God, how is she going to sing soprano songs?" And she did.
She did.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah. It's
I hate her.
I admire everyone who's got these amazing voices. I mean, I wish I had that kind of skill. I just never. I've got the ambition, but not the skill to back it up.
I've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate. I mean, I've been in the business since I was 9.
Yeah,
and I've been very fortunate to be able to make it a career. You know, to be able. I've never done anything else, and I consider myself fortunate. Everybody loves to sing, but to be able, and some are very, very talented. But to be able to actually make a career of it, I consider myself, and my sisters do, is very, very fortunate doing something we love.
Now, the Nolan story, because like you said, you started when you were 9, and it's an amazing story, isn't it? Because your parents, first of all, were singing as a duo in Ireland. You came over, you set up the families in Blackpool, and then it was by chance, wasn't it, almost, that the whole family went along one night and then got involved on stage? I saw that something about a childminder didn't turn up.
Yeah, something like that. Well, the thing is, first of all, my mum and dad were separate singers in Ireland. My mother was the Irish sweetheart, and my dad was Ireland's Frank Sinatra, totally different singers. It was when they came to England, they went out as a duo, and my dad had to start singing tenor. And he was wonderful at it. My mum was a beautiful soprano. They would do a lot of duets together. Amazing singers. None of us could sing like them. They were just phenomenal. And I was mad about the business at the time. I wanted to be famous in the world when I was 2. But so I was quite close to my dad. And I used to say, please take me, to your gig. So he would take me, and I'd get up and sing. And then Maureen and Anne came along. The others were quite young, and they got up and sang. And then eventually, as you said, a childminder didn't turn up one night, and it was too late to get anybody else. So he took us all, and we all got up and sang. And everybody said, "God, they're so good. You should start an act." And that's how it happened.
And that's how it happened. So
yeah.
Have you ever spoken to that childminder since and said?
No, I can't even remember who it was. Bless her. But no, I can't even remember who it was.
But she's almost responsible for the launch of an institution now, obviously.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, it was a fantastic time after that, wasn't it? Because over various points, you ended up with a sort of residency in London.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also, was doing a lot of TV. You did the Cliff Richard show. It's Cliff, I believe.
Les Dawson. Every comedian we've worked with, Les Dawson, Tommy Cooper, the 2 Ronnies. We did all those shows, series, for a long time. Vince Hill. What
was it like when you first got asked to do TV for the first time? You sort of. You come from doing the sort of the working men's clubs and the Northern Circuit and the summer seasons up in Blackpool, and then suddenly you're on TV with Cliff Richard. What was that like? Can you still remember?
Yeah, at first it was incredibly exciting. Oh my God, we're going to be famous and it's going to be fabulous. But first of all, it was incredibly hard work. It was the end of the week when the program came out. You got to enjoy it, but it was incredibly hard work. You were up at 8 o'clock every morning, traveling from one side of London to the other, to the rehearsal studios. And one hard thing for me was I can move. We can all move. A couple of the girls could have been dancers. Bernie in particular was an amazing dancer. But I can move. But where I was very quick at learning harmonies, I was very slow at learning routines. And 9 times out of 10, we do the routine 10 times. And he'd say, no, we need to do it again. And I'd do it perfect. So we'd do it again. And then the 11th time, he'd say, right, we'll keep that one. And I'm the one who fell over.
No.
So that side of it, I hated. I loved the routines, but we never got enough time to do them. A couple of times they changed it overnight, and I was just too slow at learning them. So that side I didn't like. But at the end of the week when it came out, and it was fabulous. But we were also made to wear clothes we didn't want to wear. Dresses the same. We never had any choice. Some were nice, accidentally. And being young girls, we were getting a name for being a pain because I don't know where that, we weren't being a pain. We were young girls. We went to nightclubs every night and we dressed quite fashionably. And suddenly we're all wearing these pretty little bows and we hated them. But you get the name for being drippy, which wasn't fair because we weren't drippy. We had no choice.
You had no choice in what you're wearing.
Quite pretty, the ones on now.
Those ones are pretty. Those ones are pretty. But I mean, I have seen a few pictures and I think I can guess the ones you mean. But
they never put at the end of the thing. The Nolans did not design these clothes, people thought it was us picking them, So that was hard.
You like, there you are, like, because it was in the 70s, wasn't it? So like you would have been like hitting the nightclubs in all the
the latest skinheads or whatever it was.
Yeah,
going on and wearing these pretty little bows and oh no. So that side of it was hard, and it was very tiring, even for young girls like us. And I'm insomniac all my life, so I was never able to sleep. But mostly, we're very grateful. And Cliff was lovely, and we met some fabulous people on the series. People like Gladys Knight. Yeah. I should have, went into her dressing room. It was just amazing. Olivia Newton-John was the nicest person in the world. So in all the series we did, we met some lovely people. Harry Seek, and we did his show, and he was just divine. And Tommy Cooper is hysterical, and Les Dawson, fabulous. So we were very fortunate to work with some great people. Morecambe and Wise and Elton John we met on the Morecambe and Wise show. So all that kind of thing.
And what did Elton say to you? Did you?
Well, we kind of just said hello. He was late getting in, and we were about to leave, and they said, "Would you like to stay and see Elton do his song?" And at that time, Elton was very shy. He was really shy. I think he is shy. He puts on a stage front, but he was actually quite shy. And but he said hello, and he was very, very pleasant, and he was excellent. Just him and the piano. He was brilliant. I can't remember what he sang actually, but they let us stay, and we met him, and he was very, very nice. I ended up bringing out a single of one of his songs, actually. Sorry seems to be the hardest word.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was quite nice, but it never did anything. But it was pretty. I thought we did a good job on that. But
it's a lovely song, that one, isn't it?
It's a fabulous song. Very sad.
And it
is the hardest word.
You seem to love your sad songs, honestly.
I know. I love ballads. I love the ones. They don't have to make you cry. I love beautiful ballads. But I also loved. I used to do a lot of things from Mac and Mabel. There's a song called I can't remember the name of it. Wherever He Ain't, and it's a big one. I did that in a TV shoot as well, TV show with Shane Ritchie. He used to do a TV, and he put me on that, and that was fabulous. I love doing those as well. So, because I said I have two voices, but I love the ballads, and particularly the big ballads, the ones where you can get into people's
really,
this is my life and all that business. Love all that.
I love the drama of it.
I'm a real drama queen, yes.
I love it. Obviously, talking of people that you've worked with, obviously Frank Sinatra, that you got to go on tour with back in 1975. Now, first of all, how did that come about?
Well, Stuart Morris, he's the man we have to he put us in the public eye. He booked us from the London room. We did 6 years there. He got us the Cliff Richard series. He was the producer. He was the main producer on the BBC at the time of Variety. And in fact, he was the head producer of Variety. And he put us up for the Sinatra tour, and we all said no. And at the same time, my dad had got 2 black market tickets to go and see him, because him and I in particular, we used to sit up low hours in the morning playing it. We were just crazy about him. Yeah. So and every year I'd cry my eyes out because we couldn't get tickets. As usual, the fans don't get the tickets, So we got 2 black market tickets, paid about 100 quid each in those days for them.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how excited I was. And they were never used, because he stood outside the theatre before the show trying to give these at face value, 35 quid, and he was moved on by the police. And there was 2 seats right in the front.
No!
Because he met him, and we introduced him to him, and he had a fantastic seat, so he didn't need them.
Yeah, didn't need them because you were in the show by then.
Oh, he wouldn't believe it. He kept saying, they shouldn't tell you things like that. It won't happen, getting you all excited. And then we had to tell him, Dad, we're doing the tour.
Oh,
you can imagine. You must know, you must be a fan of people, you must have an idol, and to actually not just meet your idol, to work with them is just, nothing could ever be better in my career than that. Even as much as I'm delighted about it, that was shaking his hand. Oh,
that must have been absolutely amazing. I mean, because he's sort of unrivaled in his area, isn't he?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The music that I'm doing here, which is my favorite music. So
and I'll come back to Frank Sinatra in a minute, but just because we've got a question that's popped up, Jackie has said, have you ever worked with Barry Manilow?
Oh, I wish. We love Barry Manilow. Last time I saw him was in Glasgow, and I had front row seats. It helps to know people. But no, and I've never met him either. The girls used to do a fabulous Manilow medley in their act. We're all big fans of Barry Manilow, but no, unfortunately not. If you know him, put a good word in, Jackie, for me. I love it.
Going back to Sinatra and Old Blue Eyes, and so you actually went around. It was around a whole bit of Europe as well, wasn't it? Like the tour,
yes.
It was a long time with him.
Yeah, we went to Germany, Frankfurt, and Hamburg. We were supposed to go to Berlin, but he fell out with the press in Berlin, so we didn't do Berlin. But we did. We started off the Palais de Congrès in Paris, which is where we met him, and we were all going to. We were standing. We were taken down. The dressing rooms were under the stage, and we're walking on this corridor. And he had this resonant voice. You could hear his voice. And we walked in the room, and I said, "No, I'm not going to be stupid here. I worked out what I was going to say. I was going to say it's an understatement to say I'm pleased to meet you." So he came on. You girls are great. We're going to have a great tour. And he came to me, and I went, not to worry. I couldn't talk to him the whole tour. Every time he came near us, I was struck dumb. Which is, as you can tell, doesn't happen often.
I love it. So you're sitting there, you planned your words, and it just
honestly
come out.
Every time he'd go by us, one night he's gone by us with Liz Taylor and Richard Burton, and I went, beautiful. And the girls looked at me and said, what's beautiful? I just used about inane comments. I just loved him so much. It's just
a sort of verbal sort of
unbelievable. He was lovely to us, absolutely lovely. Laid on a white Daimler limousine for the whole tour. He said, I'm not having those young ladies traveling with the band. And we've always granddaughter, a doll, and he burst through all his people around me. He says, oh girl, just wanted to thank you for that doll. AJ will love it. That was his AJ will love that doll. He came through his time. That was nice.
See, that's lovely, isn't it? And having that kind of, did he give you any sort of like advice to all of you? Because he'd obviously been around a long time by then, did he give you any?
Not really. We didn't. I mean, I'd love to say we were buddies. We weren't. I mean, we chatted to him, but he used to leave the stage and with a towel around him and get straight in a taxi to the airport because he was staying in Switzerland for the whole tour. Yeah. And he would fly to Switzerland. I mean, I used to feel sorry for fans waiting outside for his autograph. And I'd say, he's gone. And they'd go, yeah, okay. And I say, trust me, I said, I'm a fan. I wouldn't lie to you. He's gone. They wouldn't believe us. They'd stand there for us. But he used to get off the stage and they were still applauding and he was in a taxi to the airport.
Oh, my gosh. Right.
So we didn't, apart from rehearsals, he came up to us. We watched him at the Albert Hall and he came, the Royal Festival Hall. No, the Albert Hall. And he came up to us and said, he was singing a song called But Beautiful. And he came up, she says, your mommy will know this song, you won't. And I wanted to go, I know when you cut your first tooth, but he wouldn't believe me. It sounds like you're creeping if you keep saying we're such fans, you know what I mean? But we were.
Yeah.
That's one disappointing thing. He didn't know what fans we were. Everybody wants to work with him because he's a legend. But we were fans, huge fans, So, but he never knew that, But
what did your dad say when you actually told him, no, we got the tour? What?
I don't think he believed it till we introduced him to Sinatra. Also, his piano player, my dad, was a huge fan of Bill Miller, who played piano for Sinatra. And he had a conversation with him that made his life. And he knew a lot of the musicians in the band because a lot of them were Irish. And of course, he was very, very well known in Ireland. Oh, Tommy, how are you? And all coming up and saying hello to him. He kept he kept it close to his chest, but I know he was absolutely gobsmacked, I mean, he would love Sinatra before Sinatra. Everybody was into Bing Crosby when he was young, and he was touting about Sinatra. Have you heard this guy sing? Before he became as huge as he became, my dad was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And a wonderful, wonderful singer, my father.
I mean, that is obviously a genetic thing that you've all got. It's and I know when you said, I saw that you said when you first came down to London, all the sisters, that your brothers decided they were going to stay behind, and that was actually something that they regretted in later life. But it kind of did dawn on me. I was like, do you know what? I've never even thought of the Nolan brothers.
I know, yeah. It's like a boy, three girls, a boy, three girls. So one falls in the middle of the six girls, and the oldest. They came down to London for maybe a week or two and sang with us because the whole family, there they are in that photo.
Yeah,
the whole family used to sing together.
Yeah.
But they're Blackpool lads. I mean, they were born in Ireland, but they've lived in Blackpool all their lives. They didn't want to leave Blackpool. You know, we've all moved back there anyway. It kind of gets a hold of your heart, I think, and we love living there. You know, it takes a lot of stick, but we love it. And I don't think they were prepared to give up, you know, living in Blackpool to come down to live in London. That was the main thing. They both sing really well. I mean, my party, I booked a band, and my brothers will both sing, and my nephews will sing. It's more like a concert, my birthday party, but they all sing really well. The younger one in particular, he great voice, you know, but wasn't that keen on it, where he was prepared to leave his home in Blackpool and travel the world, you know. So I think that was the main reason. Obviously, we'd have welcomed them with open arms, but I think that was the main reason they didn't want to do it.
It wouldn't have been quite the same if it was like the Nolan sisters and a couple of brothers in the back.
It'd have to be the Nolan family, wouldn't it? Really?
It would have to be the Nolan family.
We were called the Singing Nolans originally. We even had a case with special knickers, and we called them our singing knickers. I'd like to see that.
What was special about the knickers?
Well, with the outfits we wore, we had to wear Granny Grunt knickers, you know. So they were specially for singing. So we keep them in a case, clean for them, hopefully for the next year. And we call them singing knickers.
You got your singing knickers. I love it. I love it. That's what people want to, you know. That's knowing that you know you're such professionals that you've got your own underwear for the gig.
Oh, definitely.
I love it. I love it. And other people you've worked with as well. Obviously, I mean that was the pinnacle of it. I know you were on tour with Engel Humperdinck as well. What was he like? He's such a character.
He was lovely. I mean, we met Tom Jones in South Africa. We actually shared a sauna with Tom Jones. He was lovely, really lovely. And Enge was a bit, how can I say? He was lovely. I can't fault him. He was lovely, but he was very American, you know, and he's from Leicester. I don't want to go quit all that crap, you know, because he was actually from Leicester. But again, I can't fault him as a person. He was lovely and very, very good on stage, very professional. That was the Westchester Premier Theatre in New York. And one of my bucket lists was to just go to New York. And we were picked up by limousines. We stayed at the Hilton. So, I mean, I've had a fantastic career. It's been amazing. And he was lovely. He was really nice. He was a little bit affected with the American thing, but he was lovely. Whereas Tom Jones was as Welsh as they come, you know, in the sauna.
In the sauna. Can I just ask, in this particular sauna, how did it come about you were in the sauna with Tom Jones, and were there swimsuits being worn?
Oh, definitely. Oh my God, we'd worn full clothes. Unfortunately, we were very shy about that kind of thing. We were touring. We had 6 weeks tour over there, and we went to Johannesburg, blah, 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 loads of other places. And his band, he was the biggest act they'd ever had out there. And they laid on the red carpet at the hotel. And we were staying at the same hotel called the Landrost in Johannesburg. And we got to know his band. And then we were introduced to him. We have the same agent. Or no, his agent booked us. From that, we got the tour. We've got the New York thing with Engelbert Humperdinck through his agent. And we got to know him. We just got to know him. You know, we got to know the band really well. We're all lovely. And so, yeah, you know, just met him in the hotel, basically.
Met him in the hotel and happened to go in the sauna and
that's it. And we went to see a show as well. We came to see a show, which was lovely as well. And he was so down to earth, so lovely. The way he seems on TV, he was lovely.
We got another message here which said about would there be another album, which you answered earlier on, which you said you would love to do another one, and how about a live show?
Well, as I said, I did a tribute to Judy Garland. Whether I could do a live show with this album, I don't know, because my voice is different now. So if somebody came along expecting to hear them, you know, I still love them and I would still do what I could with them, but whether I have that voice anymore, I don't know. It scares me. But I would love to do a live show. I'm a live singer. I love to work live. That's done at the right level with good sound, and if I can afford a band. With Judy Garland, I had a 7-piece band, which was enough. That was fine. But I couldn't just work with a quartet. It would have to be a bigger type band. But yes, James, I would love to do a live show. Definitely.
I bet doing the Judy Garland songs must have just been so fun.
Amazing. Unfortunately, she's not as, you know, it's getting people to appreciate that I'm not a pop singer. They always think of the Nolans as pop singers. So the Judy Garland fans, I get people coming in saying, I wish I'd known you could sing these songs the way you do. I'd have brought my mum, she's a Judy Garland, this kind of thing. It's getting people to know that you can sing. Judy Garland was my meet and drink, that kind of music.
Yeah.
And it's just so lovely to walk on and hear her overture. I used to get so excited every night. And you know you're going on, and if you do a good job on the songs, you're going to have a good night. So there's no pressure. It's just fun, because I think I did quite a good job, and I used to get great, you know, I had a great rapport with the audience. So I just love doing things that I know I'm good at. I don't like going on and doing something I'm not sure about. That kind of thing
Still get the nerves, do
That's
you?
why I'm making excuses about doing a live show, you know. But yeah, if I'm sure about what I'm doing, I'm never happy on a stage. So
yeah. Oh, I bet you must get that massive buzz from doing it, because it's
love
part of you. You've been
Terrified,
doing it as long as
sick.
you remember. It's
terrified, no, well.
You do get terrified still.
Yeah.
Is it?
Before you go on, I wish I worked anywhere with this. Oh God, I wish I could. Honestly, 5 minutes before you go on. But once you get out there and it's working, there's nowhere I'd rather be. It's a love affair. It really is a love affair. But I understand nerves, because I get them very badly now. In fact, I suffered when I did Blood Brothers. I ended up with stage fright. I don't think I could do a show where I had to learn a script now. I think those days have gone. Stage fright.
What, just
I can still do a live show.
Worry of going, just because of the worry beforehand, you think?
Worry about forgetting the lines, because I forgot them once. I was really good at learning lines. I forgot them once with Blood Brothers, and that was it. Every night I went on, I was perspiring. It was horrendous, you know. So I've given up on that side, learning scripts and all that, because terrified. It's not that I can't learn them. I'm quite quick at learning them. But I'm frightened to forget the lines.
You've almost got in your own head about it, haven't you?
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, I need
kind of break that. Yeah. You know what the answer to that is you've got to throw yourself into it and keep doing it until you break.
Or get some kind of counselling. There are people out there can help with stage fright, apparently. As I said, I don't normally get it. I mean, with Judy Garland, I had a script. I wrote it all out myself about her life and all that, and I didn't forget it. But the thing about that kind of thing, when you're doing that kind of thing, you turn around and say, no. Because I said something one night that Judy Garland, which was hysterical. I was talking about that she didn't get the Oscar for A Star Is Born. And I was saying she got so many telegrams from people saying it's a travesty. I said, and she got a text from Groucho Marx, a text. 1950. And no one thought it fell about. And I said, I've just said a text, haven't I? No, it was a telegram. No. So things like that. I was so up the wall. I think I said she had brothers. And I came off, my sister said, I didn't know she had any brothers. I said, she didn't have any brothers. She says, well, you just told the audience she had some brothers, you know. So, but mostly I learned the script, and I was able to tell her life story. And dates is a big problem, remembering dates. But
yeah, but it's little things like that when you just panic and it comes out slightly wrong, and then you get more panicked, honestly. Obviously, at the point you decided to go solo from the Nolans, or the Nolan sisters as they were then, and singing Nolans before. So did you, I know you've been asked this before, did you ever have any regrets about going solo?
Yes, of course. I miss the girls. I miss singing harmony. I was good at singing harmony. I miss that. And I miss the girls when you're having a bad night on stage, when there's 5 or 6 of you can turn around and you bloody idiots. You know, you can have a laugh. On your own, it's a very lonely place. But on the other hand, if you're having a good night on your own, it's twice as much, because it's just you and you put your show together. And also wearing the clothes you want to wear rather than having to ask 5 other people. But I was just... you know, if when I left, if the girls said you can't leave, we can't do without you, I wouldn't have left, no question. I would never leave them in the lurch. But as you can tell, they had 8 hit records after I left, so it was never a big problem for them. But I just wanted to go down a different field than they were doing. You know, like I'm in the mood, great songs and all that, but they just weren't right for me. And I could see the rest of my career just doing oohs and ahs in the background and wearing clothes I didn't want to wear. People forget that although you're sisters, you are individuals, and I believe happiness is doing what you want to do. You know, it's not so much making a fortune from it, as long as you're happy in what you're doing. I think that's the secret. And I was happier as a solo act, but I did miss them, obviously. And I regretted when they did the Tokyo Music Festival and they met Stevie Wonder, another idol of mine. They had a jam session with Stevie Wonder, and my partner, he wanted to leave me after that because that's his idol. But that, yeah, I've been on that. But yeah, I miss them, you know, at times. But it made us closer, I think, you know, because we didn't see each other that much. So
exactly, it would have been very hard, I would have thought, working all together, being family together all the time. Must be, you know, I can imagine
it is. And we've got two placid ones, Maureen and Colleen. They're like the peacemakers. Colleen's so laid back, she's comatose. Maureen, anything for quiet life, which is great when you got 4 other people like myself, Linda, Anne, and Bernie, when she was alive, bless her, are quite fiery. So they can fall out. So you need the other 2 as buffers, you know, between us. But basically, it's like any sisters. We were just like sisters, you know. We fell out, and we did have a big falling out. That's well documented, where we didn't talk for a few years. And the reason we ended that, I remember inviting Colleen to Tom's birthday. He was 70. And I said, look, we'd love you to come. We understand if you don't want to. And she came, and we never discussed what the problem was between us. People say, get together, get in a room and thrash it out. You can't do that, because unless someone is willing to capitulate and say they were wrong, that's not going to work. You'll end up punching each other's lights out.
You'll end up falling out again. So
yeah, I said, if you love each other, move on, which we did. We're adults. We missed each other. We just decided move on. So we've never discussed it, and we just moved on from it.
That's a good way of doing it, because
I think so.
Park it and just go, because you're right. If you start bringing things up,
yes, it gets happen. I know families have done that. We're going to all get together, and they ended up hitting each other. Unless somebody's willing to turn around at that meeting and say, I was totally wrong, that will work if someone had missed it. But if nobody's willing to admit they did anything wrong, you can't sort it that way. You've just got to say, look, I still love you. Let's move on for the kids' sake and the grandkids.
Yeah, because I can't imagine any of you saying I was wrong. Because you're
no, it's not. Well, I'm pretty good if something happens and I get it wrong, I will turn and say, oh, sorry, I was wrong there. It's not easy, but there's a couple of the girls you would have to torture them to get them to say I was wrong. You know, they know they were wrong. They'll do things and you think they know they were wrong. But there's a couple of them you'd have to torture to get them to say, yes, I'm sorry, I was wrong. So
go on, name and shame them. Which ones?
No, exactly. I'm not going to.
I think we can guess. Obviously, just to say on your sisters as well. I mean, you've been through a lot of tragedy as a family, and not to upset you, but I mean, obviously with Bernie, and everyone was, you know, distraught for you all on that. It was such a shock. And now, you know, with Linda's, what she's going through, she's come on, she's talked to me before, and Anne, both talked about how they've been going through their chemo, and I know, you know, obviously Linda's continuing with it. How do you support each other, and has there been times when you think, why is it always us? Because it does seem that you've been so unlucky as a family.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, we're a big family, so you know, there's 8 children. We're no more unlucky than anybody else. You know, when you think about it, we think we are, because when it's people you love, you think, why do we deserve this? But you know, we got through COVID. Nobody got COVID. And Anne got through it. She's in remission. Anne's grandson was very sick at one point. They thought he'd sepsis. They thought he'd meningitis. During COVID, it was horrendous. And now Linda will never be totally free of it. She lives with me while she's going through the chemo, because it's difficult for her to look after herself. And she lived with me for 2 years before. And she said to me one night when I was out cooking the dinner, she said, can I do anything for you? And I went, leave. She tell about it. She saw the funny side of it. But so, you know, I don't like, she hates you saying she's amazing, because the thing is, she says, I have to go through it. I don't have a choice. I said, well, what she is amazing at, she doesn't labor. She doesn't sit there moaning her lot and crying. And she still cracks gags as if there's nothing wrong with her. She still's the life and soul of the party. And that takes guts. She goes off and cries on her own. She has counselling. But in public, you would never know she was ill. She is amazing, even though she doesn't like me to say it. And Anne, you know, has been through so much. A break of her marriage, and she broke the 2 kids, and then she's had cancer twice. And just recently, 3 weeks ago, we lost a beloved aunt. Now, she was the last of her generation. Yeah, she was the last of her generation, and she was like my mother. And so that was really hard. But she was 87, and I never, ever, I hate that expression. People go, she did good innings. Because when you love somebody, it doesn't matter. You want them to live to 120. It doesn't matter how old they are, you know. But you know, she had a good life, and she wasn't really ill during COVID. Thank God. Those people who lost loved ones during COVID, where they couldn't even visit them, you know. So we do bemoan our lot, as everybody does, but we've been lucky as well. You know, we lost Bernie. That was the hardest thing of all. And God forbid, I hope Linda stays here for years with this, you know. But Bernie was too young and too much to give, too much, you know. And my brother Brian lost his first wife. She was 26. So we've had our fair share, but it is a big family, and we're known, you know, people have gone through hell during COVID. So we can't say we're worse off than anybody else. I know a whole family's been wiped out, and they weren't even there to sit by their bedside. And so we're no unluckier than other families, I don't think.
Did your aunt know that you were bringing out your album and everything, and finally getting it out there? And did she know that before?
She knew there was talk about bringing it out, but she didn't. She didn't get to this stage where it actually happened. She was a big fan of all of us. You know, we could have went wrong. We were the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, and I miss phoning her and telling her, "Guess what? You'll never guess." And my partner was brilliant with her. We used to take her out every day, and she was amazing. She was my mum's sister, and she's, as I said, she's the last person I can actually call auntie, because she was the last uncle. They're all gone now, so that's kind of sad.
I am sorry. Yeah.
Well, it happens to everybody, doesn't it? It's life, isn't it? Poor people of Ukraine, you know, at the moment.
I know. It's unbelievable what's going on over there. But on the nicer note, on the family side, obviously you got to be back with all your sisters singing when we saw you on the Nolans Go Cruising. And what was that like, performing with them? Because you'd not performed with Colleen, had you?
Since I left the act, no. And we used to sing together at home and parties, but never professionally. I mean, we did the Nolans at home first, which was us during COVID, which we were very lucky with that, because we were filming, we were allowed to be together. On Anne's 70th birthday, we were able to be together because we were filming. Otherwise, she'd have had an awful 70th birthday. And we're big into birthdays in my family. So that was good. And then the cruise came up. Unfortunately, I missed the one they did in the Med. And cruising was my life for 30 years. That was what I did more than anything. So I was a bit disappointed it was around the British Isles, but it was still fabulous. We had such a good time. I remember sitting on the deck the night England beat Germany in the World Cup, and we're big football fans. And that was amazing. And Colleen is so funny. I'd miss that. You know, I don't see a lot of Colleen because she lives in Manchester or Cheshire anyway. But so I don't see a lot of her. So it was great to spend 2 weeks there. And I'd forgotten how funny she is, you know. And we had a great time. We all got on so well. You know, I thought there might be the odd, you know, but friction, but there was no friction. It was brilliant. And people were fantastic on the ship.
You want to push one of them overboard?
No, but the people on the ship, you know, you don't realize how much you mean to people. It was just amazing. They treat us like we were their daughters, and they kept holding our hands and said, I can't believe you know, it's just amazing how lovely the people, and they were so happy after COVID to be. They didn't care if it stayed in port. They were just happy to be doing something.
Happy to be on holiday somewhere. And Jesus, is there going to be another series?
I don't know. We've not heard, but they tend to ring you like a week before. So we really hope so. And I'd love it to be the Med again. You know, they were talking about the Caribbean, and the girls. Well, I'm not. I've done 30 years on ships, and I found the Caribbean just bloody hot, and coconut and white sand. You know, eventually, when I first did, it was incredible. It was too hot. But I love Med because I'm a sightseer, and there's different ports every day. But the song we did was "I Will Survive," which was, at the time we thought, God's done to death, karaoke, you know, no. But it is a great song when you listen to the lyrics, and it was perfect for us and perfect for the people on the ship, and we loved it. Had an absolute ball. I made a mistake in the routine, which was par for the course. The girls laughed, but scene-wise, I loved it. It was brilliant. And I sang a solo on the ship actually during the cruise as well, which they threw at me during we were sitting in the lounge one night and they said, "You're singing a song tonight." Oh my God, I died. And it was from my album. They'd got in touch with my arranger and he put it together. That was scary.
and you're thrown in the deep end, literally.
But I loved it. Once you're up there, I could have done 3 more, you know.
You're like, don't take the mic now. I'm right.
Yes, I'm on a roll now. Get away.
I'm on a roll. I love it. I love it. I just think it's so great that do you think there's any chance that you'll record anything again, all of you?
I don't know. Some of us don't want to sing again. I would sing a drop of a hat. It may happen if they can persuade us, and you know, time is right and the song is right. But again, we're all individuals. You know, like I might say, "Oh, what a great song!" Somebody else might say, "I'm not singing that." You know, it's very difficult. People forget we're all individuals as well. They think it's all nicey, but we're all individuals with songs we love and songs we may not like. You know, as I said at first, I Would Survive. None of us wanted to sing it because it's done to death, but we were wrong. You know,
it was perfect at that time.
Right. And the lyrics, when I listened to the lyrics, great lyrics, fantastic. But I don't know. It would be nice to think we could do. They're talking about Christmas show. That would be lovely because we're very, very into Christmas, and that would be lovely. And we'd include the boys in that maybe, and some of the kids, because the grandchildren now, we've got some really talented grandchildren in the family and great grandchildren. So
we could see the next generation.
A big family thing, like the Osmonds did a Christmas concert, a big family thing. We'd love to.
I love that, and we see the grandchildren as the new thing for them.
Yeah. And my great nephew and great niece, really talented singers, Vinny and Sienna, great singers. So, you know, you never know.
It's something definitely in your genes. Honestly, you're all so talented. It has been absolutely lovely chatting to you, Denise.
That's lovely. Listen, I never have a problem chatting, as you found out.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking about it. And congratulations again on getting to #1 in the jazz charts. And we should be watching where it goes from today. And it's an absolutely brilliant album, and you must be over the moon that it's out there. So congratulations so much. It's been absolutely lovely.
And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and happy Easter. So
happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. So thank you. And if anyone's wondering,
buy my album. It's perfect.
Album. It is for you, my love. It's out and available now. Came out today. All right. Thank you so much, Denise.
Pleasure.
Lovely having you.
Thank you.